Hey everybody, what's going on? We're here with a timeless reading. Welcome. All right, first card that we have out is Four of Pentacles. Also looking at Queen of Wands, Six of Pentacles, Choice, Four of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles. This seems like it has definitely stuff going on that has to do with values, but to have all of the pentacles here, most likely this has to do with things that are like actually playing out physically for you. So starting off with the Four of Pentacles shows you being in a spot where there's something that you're holding on to, and you may also feel like you need to like save something for yourself here. To have Six of Pentacles and to have Two of Pentacles, this can be you trying to figure something out, but doing so in a way that can feel like cautious, or it can feel like you're moving really slowly through something. Like it's taking a long time for something to happen with all of the Pentacles. And I think you may even be at a point where you're like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this anymore. I think that I might want to move in the direction of something that I feel is going to be more of what I'm looking for, more so internally than anything. So you can even be doing like some type of approach where before there had been like more of a focus on things externally, now there can be a move to focus on things more internally. It just seems like there's something that you don't want to be doing anymore. And you may be going in the direction of connecting with someone actually. Or there can be like a choice related to relationships or a relationship that's coming up. Okay, yeah. I'm seeing you move potentially in the direction of an opportunity that you have to connect with someone. It looks like you may think that you're gonna find what you're looking for in this relationship or like in this connection with this person, because I'm seeing it be connected with like opportunity and potential. Why you would go in that direction? So it feels like, oh, something can come of this or from this. Like things can grow, things can expand. So there can be like a relationship that you're looking at, or like a partnership or something that you're looking at, where you're like, I feel like there's a lot of potential for this to be something, and it's something that feels like it's giving you something that another situation isn't really doing for you right now. So you can feel like you sort of have this like empty space that you're feeling internally because of something not being like fully aligned, or just like not, like you may be receptive to something and not be, like you're waiting on the receiving end being receptive, and that other thing like hasn't come through yet with whatever situation this is that you're in. So it looks like you're moving in the direction of something that's going to be able to give that to you. This thing that you're looking to connect with, like that sort of thing. And there being a lot of potential in this direction as well. And it looks like there's another person that's involved in this too. Seeing Gemini and Taurus. I've been seeing this combination often over the last like 2 weeks maybe. Hierophant and the Wheel of Fortune looks like, and then the Magician. You may be ready to make a change, or you could just be feeling that, like you could be feeling that internally, even though maybe like psychologically you weren't at that point yet. Because it seems like there had been something that was influencing you, but you may also feel like it's keeping you maybe in a box, something like that, you know, like keeping you small or not allowing you to expand. And I'm seeing you be like even ready for a change now, because I think also too you've gotten to this point within yourself where this feels like it's going to be worth it for you because of the way that you're sort of like perceiving yourself and also interacting with yourself as well, where it's like, why would I stay stuck within this? Or like, why would I not want this aspect of my potential to be realized? And there's also a notion here of like knowing your value. And so wanting to manifest something that is reflective of that, more reflective than what you're currently connecting with. Now, this is something that's like an establishment of some sort. So this can be like a relationship that doesn't reflect your values. This can be a work situation that doesn't reflect your values. It can be a living situation that doesn't reflect your values. Can be like a belief system. At the end of the day, it's going to tie in with that does not reflect your values. And because you're finding like this value within yourself, because I think that there's something now that you've done for yourself where you're like look at me, look at what I can accomplish, or like I'm really seeing the value in myself, or like I'm really loving myself in a way that I wasn't doing before. And because of that, it means that you're ready to expand now. Like there's an opportunity for growth now because you've sort of achieved this level within yourself, within your relationship with yourself. And now I'm hearing rudimentary, so maybe something like basic within your relationship, but it can be something that's very pivotal simultaneously. So it may seem like this is a basic thing, but it's also a foundational thing as well. This can also be about like your self-worth, but also like how you want to be treated and how you're using your energy too. Of like, my energy is really worth something, you know? Like there's a sense of self-confidence or like self-belief or self-value or self-love or self-trust that I don't think was necessarily there before, where I'm seeing you look at these things and be like, I don't know if that still resonates with me anymore. There may be a resistance because it's like, well, this is all I know, or all I was like taught growing up, you know, or just something that was serving me for a point in time. And now I'm seeing you be at a spot where you're like, I think like I'm expanding beyond that. I think I'm growing beyond that. So something is no longer like compatible anymore. And I think you're really seeing that. And it seems to like, I think something is just becoming too much for you and you're like, why am I doing that to myself? Why am I putting myself through that? I don't necessarily want to be doing this anymore. Because you may feel like there's a dance that you have to do that's just become too much and it's like constantly like that. And I'm seeing you get to a point where you're like, I don't even want to play that game anymore. Like, I don't even want to be doing that dance anymore. It's not aligned for me, and I'm trying to create something that feels more aligned and more compatible with my values. It has to do with your values that are related to like yourself and your self-esteem and like your authenticity and those types of things. And like how you're being treated, but mostly how you're treating yourself. Of like, why do I keep putting myself in this position? Or like, why do I keep making myself like dance like a monkey within this situation, you know, where you're like, I'm doing that to myself. So there's just this recognition of like, oh, I don't have to be doing that anymore. Because I think too, you could have even felt like you were like scraping along here, and now at a point where you're like, why am I doing that to myself? Why am I putting so much pressure on myself? Like, again, like, why am I doing this like activity or this situation or in this environment that is like so stressful now at this point? Because I'm seeing too something going on where it's like you either have to do something very heavy, hectic, stressful, something that feels like almost there's like no even like winning or success within this because it's just constantly like that. And I think you can look at this and be like, there isn't anything like inherently wrong. It just doesn't feel compatible with where I am right now. And I'm feeling that. And so that's indicating to me that this is something that I don't need to stay in. So I'm seeing you just wake up here of like, I don't need to be stressed out like this. Like, I don't need to keep doing this thing. Because I think too, it's been a cycle where like no matter how you cut it and no matter what you do within it, it's like always gonna feel like this. It doesn't matter how like efficient you are at doing things or proficient you are, it's like always gonna feel like this because this is just the nature of this thing. It may feel difficult for you, it may feel challenging for you to sort of like make this your own and do something with this situation, but I'm seeing it be possible. There's an expanding that's happening that's associated with what you had been like telling yourself, and sort of like this new narrative that you're developing, and I'm seeing it be difficult because it's like it's all on you to create this now. It's like there isn't necessarily, like before there had been this kind of like guideline that you were doing things by because it was just like that automatic guideline that's already there, and so it's very easy to just follow like 1 2 3, like the blueprint is being made. But now you're at a point where you're like, I'm the architect of this, I'm actually the one that's making the blueprint. So even though you have free reign and even though you have more choice and more autonomy, there's also like nobody really telling you how it is or what you should be thinking or believing or how you should be doing things. And so I'm seeing you get to a point where it's like, man, that part is also stressful too, but you know that this is just going to be like a means to an end. So even though you can be like, I'm growing, this feels kind of unfamiliar, I'm like changing my mind, I'm expanding, I'm evolving, there can be this part of you that's like, but now I'm the creator, now I'm the artist, and this is feeling a bit heavy. So you may feel like you're at a spot where like both of these things in a somewhat conditional way may feel a bit stressful, but this may be a type of stress that you'd rather deal with, or like a type of, you know, this is really challenging right now, or I have a lot to do, but it's more like gratifying for me because I feel like it's more aligned. Or it's more so what I'm looking to experience. Because I do feel like you're venturing out on your own in some way. In this position, you want to like rethink what it is that you are making yourself do. And also too, what I'm seeing is that you may not do this on your own. There may be, for some of you, there's somebody that you're going to be like working with, collaborating with, partnering with, being like a teammate with in some way, something like that, where you're not going to have to do something on your own, is what I'm seeing. This will feel more satisfying for you. I think that part of you that would like enjoy working with another person in some capacity. When I say work, I just mean like interacting. It seems like in order to accomplish something though. So this definitely has like a reason why you would be connecting with this person. So this means like being open to partnership is going to be helpful. In any way, I don't know if this is just going to be like one person you're going to be working with, or this is just like being open to sort of working in situations with people whenever that comes up for you. It's like, today I've been interacting with this person a lot, like tomorrow it's that other person I'm going to be working with. So this can just be like your relationships, either one relationship or multiple relationships, are going to be helpful to you, is what I'm seeing. And it seems like it's going to help you so you don't feel like you have to take everything on by yourself. Because I'm seeing it be like partnerships or like other people will be helpful in a way that I don't think you were doing before, or you didn't have before. I think you're also going to be paying more attention to your feelings as well. Maybe that wasn't something, it could have been something you were noticing, but not something you were necessarily doing with before. If anything does not work out, or it doesn't go the way that you thought that it was going to, know that this is on purpose too. It's not for no reason. You may think that you're being guided to do certain things, and then you do those things, and then certain things will end up falling through, and that's like also part of the plan as well. I'm seeing there be an opportunity that immediately, if this is your energy, you may not be open to something immediately, but I don't think that you're going to stay feeling like this. This is more so if you're having a feeling of like resistance or a lack of inspiration or like a lack of wanting to do something, because this can even have to do with like help and stuff like that. You even like admitting that you need something too. And it seems like in an interpersonal type of way. When that feeling comes up, or when those feelings come up, for you to pay attention to that and be like, what does this mean? Why is this happening? It's going to be really helpful. It's going to be like the key to something important here is what I'm seeing. I think too that this is about releasing old belief systems and old patterns and old cycles that are like the old ways that are no longer aligned. It's like not part of this like paradigm for you where you are now, like where you've developed to. So there's a releasing that's happening. It's like the old ways of thinking and stuff like that, and the old ways of doing things, because you're just ready for this now. It's something where before this may have been like grounds for safety for you, and now you're getting to a point where it's like you don't need that anymore because you have yourself now and what you've developed within yourself. So you have this sense of like self-trust that you're cultivating, that you're developing, but you didn't have that before. So you may have like needed some type of like guide or guidance, or to adopt something that maybe you didn't come up with, but that was like shown to you or reinforced within you. It's sort of like an old programming essentially that you're releasing. But at one point in time, this was something that was like a guiding force for you. You just don't need this anymore. So you don't need to hold on to it anymore. Because of you cultivating this part within yourself. It's like before, you can say there was this like energetic deficiency, right? And so you needed to like take this supplement because it was giving you something that you need. But now that you've gotten to this point where you like produce it on your own, why would you also still be taking that? You know, like you don't need to anymore. And so it's recognizing like, oh, I don't need this anymore. Like I'm doing that for myself. Like I'm producing that for myself. So I don't need that. Because it even feels like something that was like helping you color inside of the lines, and like you don't need that help anymore. And how you would know that is because you'd feel restricted by this now. So it would not be something that you feel like this is still really helping me and really giving me something that I need. At this point, this is something that feels like it's maybe like reductive in some way, or keeping you small in some way, or keeping you rigid in some way, and you breaking out of that. This can also have to do with your daily patterns as well, part of this. Something more aligned with your values, that's what's being created. Prioritize. It's gonna help you check in and not be taking on things just unnecessarily because you didn't think about it. So make sure that you're checking in and doing that. I'm seeing it's time for a release, it's time for a change. Something was no longer working anymore. I do feel like this was something that at one point in time, it reflected reciprocity to you, and it does not do that anymore. So something does not feel aligned anymore. And that is why you would be stepping away from it, because you know like something is missing. But I'm also seeing this part of you that's feeling very, very resistant to doing this. So there can be this part of you that's like, I know that this isn't, I'm not meant to be here anymore, but there's also this part of me that like wants to stay here anyway, because I'm used to this, because I'm familiar with this, because I've been doing this, because this feels safe to me, because at one point in time this did provide me with what I needed. So it's sort of like making your perception of this current to what's actually going on now. Because I think too, like how you may be stuck perceiving this is based off of like when you first got involved with it, what it was doing for you, and it was doing something that was necessary for you. Again, like it was a supplement for you, but you don't need that anymore because you're doing it yourself. There's this part of you that's like, but growing, you know, everything that comes along with growing and what that would mean, like that's uncomfortable. So I'm seeing there be this part of you that's like, about it, but this is what you're being encouraged to do, if you're willing to, if you want to. What's motivating this, like why this is being encouraged for you, is that if you're in a place where you're feeling stuck and like there's a sense of like grayness to things, this is an opportunity that's going to bring some of that color back that you've been looking for. It's going to like saturate things for you. So you're meant to go towards this open door if you are looking for more of a sense of satisfaction, more of a sense of alignment, especially internally, to go this way. This looks like something really abundant that you would be moving in the direction of. And for some of you, another person is involved in this. You're really going to have to tap into your creative energy in order to do this too. Like this is going to take a lot of your like inspiration and a lot of your creativity and a lot of just that mindset of you being like the artist of your life in this situation. And to also prioritize what you're trying to accomplish here and like what your intention is too. So this is something where you're going to have to be, I think, more intentional than you were being before. But before it like wasn't the time for that, you were doing something else. Now is the time to be very intentional here with what you're doing and to be like focusing on the things that will support that. So it's like if you have a certain goal that you're trying to meet or like something that you're trying to do, when you find yourself doing something that's not supportive of that, maybe even something that's the opposite of that, it's you catching yourself and being like, oh, like that's not going to get me to where I'm trying to go. It's actually taking away from that. So I'm seeing that's also going to reduce some of the heavy lifting of this, is being like really mindful with what you're doing here. I'm also seeing too that you are going to get help from relationships. And there may be like a certain person or certain people that you are speaking with. This looks like people that you already have, a person or people that you already have developed like a relationship of some sort with. And they are going to help you process through certain things right now. Like there's a lot to learn. So this can mean too that you're in a spot where you're like, okay, I know that where I am right now, like this is not really like satisfying for me anymore, or I just feel like something is missing, or like there's got to be more than just this, you know? And so you have recognized that feeling within you. Or like, I don't want to be this stressed out all the time, you know? Like it's not really worth it to me anymore, those things. But I'm also feeling really resistant to stepping forward or like moving towards something else. And so that little like quandary right now that you're facing, speaking to people that you are close with and that you trust, they're going to be able to give you insight. Most likely it's going to be because you're actually like taking the time to reflect, but in a social way. So you're basically going to be like using a relationship or certain relationships as a sounding board, and that's basically going to explain to you and like expose to you why you had been feeling resistant to moving in the direction of something that is like potential and growth and like an open door for you. So you're going to realize, like, if this thing is such a good thing, why do I feel that sense of resistance, or why do I not feel motivated to do that? That's going to reveal that to you by communicating with certain people. Like, your relationships are going to reveal that to you, but it's going to be specifically by talking to them like about these relevant things that are going on, things that are like relative to this process. I'm seeing Gemini and Taurus. I'm also hearing Pisces. I'm seeing Mercury and Jupiter. All right, my friends, we're going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. I'm seeing somebody with like orange hair or auburn or something like that, or like reddish in some way, or even like a rusty-ish color. I want to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.